Hey everyone, Sherry here, and today I'd like to share with you my delicious granola recipe. And so the first thing I would like to start out with is my dry ingredients. Now I already have a cup of rolled oats in my bowl here. I haven't added anything else, but that would be the first thing that I would start out with. And then I will add in the other dry ingredients. However, you can add 1 cup of rolled oats or you can add 2 cups of rolled oats depending on how much granola you're planning to make. But this one with just 1 cup will last me for at least 2 days. So let's go right ahead and let's add in the next dry ingredient. The next one will be nutmeg. What I like to do is I add in a half teaspoon of nutmeg. I know a lot of ingredients that I've seen doesn't use nutmeg, they just use cinnamon, but I love using nutmeg. The next one will be cinnamon. So I'm going to do a half teaspoon of cinnamon. And that was a half teaspoon of nutmeg as well too. So I'm going to add in my cinnamon. Okay. I'm also going to add in some Himalaya salt. Okay. Couple of turns there. A lot of these things I don't normally measure, but I'm just kind of taking a good guess of what I would need. The next dry ingredients is going to be my coconut flakes, or you can add shredded coconut. So I'm just going to go right ahead and break up my coconut flakes here because I have some really large flakes. Okay. All right. And I just only put maybe a few of them in there, as you can see in my bowl here. And then I'm going to add a half cup of nuts. Now I have a different variety of nuts. I have almonds, I have pistachios, I have pecans, I have sunflower seeds, and I have pumpkin seeds. You don't have to add a whole combination of nuts. You can just use maybe 2 or 1. It doesn't matter. You can also use raisins, or you can use cranberries, dry cranberries, or even chocolate. So it all depends on how you want to flavor your granola. And I tell you, it's so much fun when you make it yourself. So once I add in all of my dry ingredients, I will mix it up and then I'll show you what I have here. So I'm mixing up my dry ingredients really well here before I add in my wet ingredients. And this is what my dry ingredients look like. So we'll go right ahead and start adding in the wet ingredients. So one thing that I love adding to my granola that you know, I just love the flavor of it is date syrup. So I go right ahead and add in some date syrup, and I just kind of do maybe a couple of squirts here, not too much of it, but it will help as far as sticking all my ingredients together. The next one I will do is maybe a couple of small drops of vanilla flavor. So 1, 2, so maybe like 2 little drops of vanilla flavor. And then I will add in my maple syrup. So in my maple syrup, I usually do, since I'm doing 1 cup of rolled oats, I usually put in a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. So I'm going to go right ahead and add that in. So that is a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. And that's really all you need, is, you know, especially if you're only making 1 cup of rolled oats. If you put too much of it in, then it will be too sweet and too soft, too chewy. So next I take my spatula here and I mix it all up. Combine my wet ingredients and my dry ingredients, and you want to mix it up good enough so everything starts sticking together. And if you don't have enough syrup, just add just a little bit more. What you want to do is just make sure that it sticks. And so far it looks like it's doing well. Oh, and there's one more ingredient that I add to this, and it is optional, and that will be my raw almond butter. Now this is optional. You don't have to add almond butter, but I love adding almond butter to my granola. I'm already adding the different nuts, and I do about maybe a teaspoon. I'm not a teaspoon, I'm sorry, a tablespoon of almond butter. So add that in, mix it in, and that'll be part of my wet ingredients. And I'll show you what it looks like once we get everything stirred up here. Ooh, I can smell all the cinnamon and the vanilla flavor, everything else. Yes, yes, yes. Now, why did I decide to make granola? Well, first of all, it was too expensive. Whenever I went to the store, it was either I had to pay about maybe over $10 just to get one bag of granola, and it would only last me for a few days. So I decided, well, you know what? I have the ingredients at home. Why don't I just make my own? And so that's what I've been doing. And also the other brands that I have tried, they were either too dry, or they just didn't have that flavor that I was looking for, or they were too crunchy. I wanted something where it was a little bit of both, where it's crunchy but chewy at the same time. And that's how I make my granola. So, and I enjoy it. And again, you can add so many different things. You can create it the way you want. It's a good way of it actually makes an excellent trail mix as well too. So it all depends on what you want to do with your granola here. So I think I have it sticking pretty good here. I'll show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like where it's starting to stick, as you can see. Okay, and so next I'm going to add it to my pan. So what I do is I like to use like a regular pie pan, and I add some parchment paper to it. Okay, so I'm going to put my parchment paper in and take my granola and add it to my pan. And once you add it to the pan, you want to flatten it out as much as you can and spread it out all around the pan itself. Okay, getting it all out of the bowl here. One thing that's probably a pain is when it sticks to your spatula, but that's okay. It's all part of the creation that you're doing here. So I'm going to go right ahead. I'm going to flatten out my granola in the pan, as you can see. And I'll show you once I get it laid out. And as you're doing this, what I normally do is I already have my oven already preheated to 350, or sometimes even less than that, maybe 325, depending on how crunchy you want your granola or how soft you want it. I like that combination of both. So 350 is good enough for me. When I do cook it on 350, I usually leave my granola in the oven for at least about 8 to 10 minutes until it's golden brown. So I'm flattening it out here. It's, you know, and it will stick to your spatula. You just kind of knock it off. Maybe take a spoon or something and knock off the rest of it from your spatula here. Okay. And it is ready to place in the oven. And this is what it looks like once you flatten it out in the pan. And this is the end result of it once it's done. So once you have your granola done, you can break it up in pieces. I'm going to go right ahead and do that. And I like to use my mason jar for my granola. So, and this one is really, really chewy. As you can see, That's how it looks. And it's golden brown on the back. So, and it's really chewy and yet crunchy. So I just add it to my jar here, and I'll have it ready when I get ready to make a smoothie bowl or some overnight oats or even some warm cereal. But again, this will last at least about 2 to 3 days. It makes a wonderful snack, like I said earlier. And most of all, it will save you money, especially when you can make as much as you want and you don't have to worry about going to the store and paying over $10 just to buy some granola. So you just make it yourself, and it's so easy to make and so fun because you can add in whatever you want. So almost done adding it to my jar, and I'll show you what it looks like. Yum, yum, yum. Actually, I'm going to try a little piece of it here. Mmm. It is so delicious. So, there you go. You have your jar full of granola. And you just put a lid on it, and it is ready for tomorrow, or whenever you want to add a delicious add it as a delicious topping. So thank you guys so much. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye.